It was 20 years ago when one of the most popular movie franchises in history began with The Sorcerer's Stone. Award-winning director Chris Columbus was called upon to try to match the popularity of the books. At that time, in 2001, I interviewed young Daniel Radcliffe the day before the world got to know him as Harry Potter at the world premiere. To what extent was it intimidating as you waited for this premiere to see how it was all going to go?
It was sheer terror, that first film, working on that first film. You know,
Mhm.
you know you have the eyes of the world on your film. So if you don't deliver, what's left? Witness protection program. So for me, it was like I would have to hide out and never make another film. So it was validated at that premiere when people really they gave this film a standing ovation, and people were hugging me and crying, and I thought, oh, this is what it means.
What didn't you want to do? Because you probably said to yourself, there's some things I want to avoid doing if I'm going to really do this film right.
The thing you really avoid, the thing you have to avoid doing is not, which I've done in any family film that I've done, which is not speak down to the audience. Don't just make a children's film. Make a film for everyone, even though it's perceived as a family film. And that's why I think these films are still being watched today, because it's not the kind of film you turn on and you're like, with your kids, okay, you watch this, I'm gonna go to the gym for 2 hours. Parents tend to watch these films with their children, which is the key.
Casting Daniel, how sure were you when you saw him?
I was sure, David Heyman was sure, Joe Rowling was sure. Took a little convincing with the studio at the time, and that was only because it was Harry Potter. But once we did Daniel's screen test, and Joe Rowling said, that's Harry Potter, that's the kid I saw as I was writing these books, that was all we needed.
About Joe Rowling, at what point along the way did you say, she's on board, this is working?
I sat down with her for 2.5 hours and just basically blurted out what my vision for the film was. At the end of that 2.5 hours, she said, I see it exactly the same way.
Chris, thank you so much for giving us your time and for the entire series of films. It is now part of our cultural heritage.
Thank you so much, Patrick. It's great seeing you again. You look the same. So
I'm sorry to hear that, but it's good to see you again. You look just as good as you ever did.
Flicks with Patrick Stoner explores the craft and culture of filmmaking that enhance our communities for television stations and websites around the country.
I'm Patrick Stoner. Watch more interviews by subscribing to WHYY.